Morning, everybody. I'm Rita Hickman. I'm a body-mind expert and a shiatsu massage therapist. My specialty is helping women who are in toxic and narcissistic relationships, really feeling trapped by everything that's going on. I help women in medicine, and I'm able to finally make a change. So today we're talking about whether a narcissist can turn you into a victim or not. So, Hey, good morning, everybody. My name's Rita Hickman. I'm a body-mind expert, a shiatsu massage therapist, and my teach them how they can work better and how they can take the next step into a chapter of their life. One where they can feel peaceful and loved and loving and have good relationships and self-respect and some traction and move ahead in life. So today's topic is you into a victim or not. So one of the words I've always had a problem with is the word victim. There was a lot of victimization going on, and the people who were victims were legitimately victims. The problem of what's happened over time, especially as we get into adulthood, it's as if the word victim has lost any power. It's something that's sarcastic or rude, or you're being in your victimhood, or you're just playing the victim, or you're pretending to be the victim, when in reality, being a victim it actually happens. Things actually happen to us because people have no ability to regulate and manage their emotions in a healthy way for the people around them. So if you're in a narcissistic relationship type, yes, you are being victimized. But let's go a little bit deeper into this. I'd like to look at the word victim as not so much as negative, but something that is an objective reality. Victim to me means helplessness. We feel helpless to something that's going on inside of you, or something inside of you. That helplessness, that inability, or the belief you, to me, is being a victim. It's true. It's actually what's happening to us. We don't believe that we have what's going on, whether how we feel or anything around us. Now, being in a victim state is something that actually happens very naturally. It's normal. It's part of how we work. A victim mind state where you feel helpless is when your rational mind checks out, and you go into your amygdala. You go into your safe place, your fight or flight, the one that protects no matter what's going on. And what a narcissist is very good at, keeping you in a place of fight or flight. Because they have in the feeling of helplessness to things that are going on around them, to life around them, to the people around them. They be in ways which are angry and hurtful because of how helpless they feel. So a narcissist, they're not playing a victim, they are a victim. They're a victim of their own world, their own reaction, their own feeling of helplessness. So does that sound like you feel sometimes? Yeah, because a narcissist is wonderful at keeping people in a place of high drama and eggshells, because it makes them feel like less of a victim. Find people who have bigger struggles than they do, or maybe are more sensitive, or need a little bit more care or carefulness, because you're easier to put into a victim mind state. You're to and push all those buttons, which are automatic. For you to go from having a great day to being in a victim mind state, it happens in seconds. It happens in a control it to that helplessness. Now, the way out of a victim mindset is to start recognizing that maybe, just maybe, you aren't helpless to how you feel inside circumstances. Now, that's a really big mind shift, because almost all of us are taught to be victims, learned submission. Now, we probably had them at some level or degree early in life, because those are the experiences that are well worn in our body and in our mind, that sense and that reality of helplessness. I struggled a lot as an adult, me kid, and all the things you could do, all the things that women and men now, boys and girls now, how to protect yourself, how to respect yourself, how to respond to things. We're so much better at that. But a lot of children, especially if they don't get the support, probably you aren't were taught these things. Instead, you were taught that you have no say, that your feelings don't matter, that boundaries don't work, that you've got no power, and that you. So every time a narcissist triggers you, they're not just triggering the current moment, they're triggering that whole world of helplessness that you've been able to keep under wraps. Maybe you denied very loudly, like I did for a long time, that I'm not controlled by anything. I make my times. And nothing happens to me without my choice. I went that route of needing to feel in control. No matter what happened to me in the world, that it couldn't affect me, that I was above this and I didn't have. That's called detachment and disassociation. If it's too far, it's disassociation. It's time we started to recognize that many women and girls have been victimized for a long time, and a lot of men too, but my specialty. So we've been victimized for a very long time, taught to be a victim, and then because that's what we knew and that's how we related to the world, people victimizers, for whatever reason, whether it's mental, conscious, subconscious, trauma, it doesn't matter, because it's all about survival and control. And so when someone finds somebody else they can control, who will do what they ask, who's loving and caring and compassionate, then we tend to bring in people who, they like those qualities. They like that we're willing to work so hard to make them feel so good. It's such a wonderful thing for them, willing to sacrifice everything and let them need to be, whether it's, with other relationships, or whether it's, angry all the time. We're willing to put up with it. So in their minds, we're actually the perfect partner for them. When people feel helpless, they just grab blindly for is you. They like you because of how you make them feel, because you're willing to give them everything that they at least, and if you're willing to give them this because they're willing to bully you and to control you, so that you're in a place of flight all the time, in a place of victim, just reacting. One of the reasons narcissists do that, make everybody mad around them, is because it gives a great sense of control. Like they've power, it's predictable, they understand, it can piss you off. So when a narcissist is feeling like a victim, they're stuck in their helplessness, they're stuck in their pain, and they can't see any other way out. They're just overwhelmed by this feeling. Of course, what they do is manipulate you, get angry at you, because it's predictable and it's safe, and it's because they know exactly what your buttons are and exactly how to push them in order to feel good of themselves again. That's just normal. Always that way. Maybe when they feel safe or comfortable or things are going smoothly, then they don't believe, then they're not in that space. There they are, trying to get that feeling of power again. And the side effect is that you end up victimized, because they are manipulating you in order to stay in a place of panic and fight or flight where you can't think clearly. It's the dance. So yeah, narcissist turns you into a victim very purposely. And we all have that victim mindset. Every single one of us carry it. It's that protection, it's that safety, it's that fight or flight, it's the amygdala. And so we all have that. We all are a victim and can be by how we feel, by what's going on around us, all of us. And the key is to recognize when you're hijacked by how you feel, or your feeling of anger or rage or helplessness or frustration, is to recognize that and then do something that makes you feel powerful again. Do something that takes back your powers. So maybe it's a day of going to a spa, get your needs met, where you can feel warm and comfortable and connected. That's ways you take your power back. Or maybe you say, I'm not willing to feel this way, so I'm going to take my Xanax. Maybe you leave, find a safe space where you can be quiet. This is you taking back your power. Maybe you take herbal medicine, GABA, or chamomile tea, so that you aren't a victim anymore. Because a narcissist knows very well exactly how to feel in control by pushing your buttons so that you end up in fight or flight. In fight or flight, you are being victimized. And do they do it on purpose? I'm sure some of them do. I'm sure most of them do. It's just natural. It's just the dance that they live with. And until you start to recognize on some level that you aren't helping, and until you start to detox, it goes way back, and maybe it was passed down generation to generation to generation, this feeling that we don't have a say, that our voices won't be heard, that we're invisible, that nobody sees us anyways, that we are people, that clearly there's something broken with us, otherwise people would treat us better. All of those things, all of those feelings, space, like with a coach or with a therapist or with an energy worker or somebody that's safe, that you trust. You have to start working through those things and feeling them, because you're helpless. But you are helpless to amygdala. You're helpless to just reaction to happen. So as they say, it's not about the reaction, it's about what you do with it. So you're going to react, be in a victim mind state. And then if you can keep enough presence of mind or friends or things of who you want to be, then you do things that bring you back to yourself. Because a narcissist is not going to help. They like the fact that you're tizzy and wound up and a little out of control, because you're controllable then. They like that. It's grounded again. Only you can make decisions which will make you feel better and not feel so helpless. So if you remember, underneath a lot of an unresolved or unexpressed grief, or that is taking you and putting you into a position of feeling helpless again and reminding you of how helpless you've been in your life, that's what they're doing, taking your wound and using it as a way to feel better. So the way out, you heal your wounds. And then when you've healed your wounds a little bit and you start getting an idea of the world and things around you, then you get to decide whether you want to remain having those buttons pushed, someone manipulating them because they don't have enough control, they don't themselves, or whether you want to go. But the most important thing you do is you start healing yourself, because until you get into a really grounded space, you're going to keep going into victim mindset, feel out of control and helpless by the rage or by the hurt, or where you end up compromised and emotionally hijacked by all of that. Your whole system kicks into gear. You have to start working on that, detoxing the emotions and finding the support that you need and starting to think in new ways. You have to get into a stronger position before you can make good decisions and stick with them. So if you feel stuck with all this, reach out. I think, which includes a small group, comes together every Tuesday, and we have daily live. We've got the private Facebook group. We've got monthly coaching calls. It's a wonderful, all-encompassing sort of thing, which finally gets you what you need. You don't have to do it piecemeal, okay? So reach out. It's an affordable group. We're looking at about $100 a month right now. And let me know, because we will bring you into the fold and we get your feedback underneath you, okay? So I hope you have a great rest of your day. Talk to you later. Bye.